Welcome to the introduction of your website and specifically editing it with WordPress. Really get too much into 101 and WordPress and cover everything WordPress related. However, I'm probably going to do a little bit more this first video, this first go around than I normally do, to try to touch base on a couple areas here and there. So there's a good chance that this particular video will be longer than most. More often than not, they're anywhere from 3 to 5 minutes. I try not to really go over that 5 to 7 area, but this one will be different. That way, it's going to help you in general grasp, hopefully, other aspects. excuse me, other aspects of your website. So let's go ahead and get started. And the first thing I want to show you is just logging in, and basically, it's your URL address and then the words or letters, if you will, WP-admin. So right now, you're going to see this weird number and this right here. That's because your site's in development. It's not quote unquote live on the web for the world to see. Only we can see it. So right now, just ignore time of this video. I don't know if your site should be live. At least I'm expecting it to be. Ignore these numbers, this weird looking thing. So if you're shishinievents.com, or I don't really remember what the URL is. Whatever your URL is, the full site .com/WP-admin, which is this right here. So that's what you want. And if you type that in, you should get this right here, this login. So go ahead and enter in your credentials and log in so we can follow along here. And once you've logged in, you're going to see all this stuff. And if you've never logged into WordPress before, you've never seen WordPress before, at first glance, you're probably thinking, wow, this is overwhelming. What's going on? Most things you don't need. So what I like to do is come in and just uncheck what I don't want or check what I do want. And I like the bare bones. I don't care for anything other than this. Go ahead and close that back up. Next on the left is your main toolbar, and this is where you can edit various things, within your website. I'm not going to cover every single thing on here, but I will cover a good portion throughout this tutorial, as well as other tutorials that cover, touch base on maintaining your site. So the first thing is the post section, and this has all your posts for your blog and post and a page. I mean, that makes sense. It's a post or it's a page, so we'll see that post and page. So all the posts that we see in the blog, that we see in this section, will be listed right here under the post section that we can either get to through this way, through here in this right now box, or through this. And what we can do is, once we get here, is see a bunch of different things: who wrote the article, your categories, your tags if there are any, when it was published, and those kind of things. And if we want to edit a specific post, an already made post, we would just click on it, and it's going to load up the page. The title of your page, the post title of the post, the content, the WYSIWYG editor, and we're going to go over this later as well, and a bunch of other cool and neat little fun stuff we see over here as well. We'll cover that a little bit later. Okay. Next is the media section. This is really important. Anytime you make an upload to your admin, to the back end, to this section of WordPress, whether that whether that's through a blog upload, through adding an image, through a post, through other various elements, and that could be a PDF, could be a zip file, could be a JPEG, could be a Word document, an Excel document, a zip, whatever. You're going to see that in the media library. All that's going to be stored here and stored on your database. So if you've uploaded something, for instance, this candle picture, I can come in here, I can click on it, and I can find out more information. I can find out the size of it, when it was uploaded, the file type. I can give it, a different title if I want, a description if I want, and also we'll be able to get the URL. Basically, this is the path to where the image is on the server. Another thing you can do is actually edit this image. So if I click edit, I can crop it, crop it down. I can rotate it. I can change a couple things on it and then save it, which is really cool. You can also directly upload to this section by clicking add new, and you can drag an image right into here, or you can just hit select files and just, you know, look around through your pictures, through your computer, whether it's your desktop or, you know, wherever you might have stuff stored. So if I come in here and find a picture I want to upload, I just find it and I just hit open. It's going to optimize it for you, and then it's going to show you the actual picture after it's been uploaded, and then the information actually we were seeing before. And now if I go back to the library, we can see our picture. All right, so that's pretty cool. Next, we have the links, and this actually will be your blog roll. I'm not going to go over that right now. That's going to be something I cover in another section. Pages, real quick, these are all your internal pages. So whether that is your about page, your contact page, things like that. And I'm going to have a separate tutorial for those areas because everything is really specific in your site because you have a lot of different dynamics, whether it's a gallery or a blog page, or your services or whatever. You got a lot of different stuff. So there's a lot to cover in the pages section, and I'm going to save that for a separate tutorial. Comments, that's all your blog comments. You can monitor and manage those through this. So you'll see a couple of tests in here that we have. You know, if you want to unapprove it, if you want to reply to it, you want to spam it, trash it, you can do all that here. I'm going to go ahead and trash this. That's it, done. Okay, now banner, album, and about us, those are site specific. Those are she specific. Those are not standard WordPress items. These are custom designed for your website. So I'm not going to touch base on those right now because those are tutorials all in themselves. Your appearance, what's really going to be important to you are the widgets and the menus. Okay, the sidebars I will cover in one of the videos, but I'm not sure you're going to be using that all that much, to be honest with you. Editor, stay away from this. This is where your code is to operate your site. Here's your code. This is basically your framework, what operates your site. I would stay away from this because if you come in here and make a mistake and goof something up, your site could be destroyed because of it. I mean, destroyed is probably too strong of a word, but you can really do some damage. So let's avoid that if we can. Plugins, exactly what that is. This is a section where if you want to upload a plugin, whether that is for spam relation or you want to do a newsletter plugin or something like that, you can do that here. But I would take that with a grain of salt. Is plugins are developed open source, meaning people do it for free, they do it in their spare time, and you can always find a plugin that could end up giving you a virus. It could break your site. Worse, you could get hacked and cause some other issues. So I would be very careful and try not to use a lot of plugins. I would be very, very safe about it and be minimalistic when it comes to using plugins for your website. Users, this is where we add editors, and what I'll do is go ahead and just, I guess, add one while we're at it. And what we do is click Add New. And what you want to do is give it a username, so I'll just go ahead and just do Ebony since we're at it. Drop in the email address, first name, last name if you want to. It's entirely up to you. All these sections are entirely up to you. Password. You will change this, and that brings me to a point with your passwords. You know, I strongly and highly recommend you use tough passwords. You know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Something easy, your dog's name and your birthday. I would avoid that because the harder you make it, obviously the harder it is for people to hack you. And by having a site that you can log into, makes you a little bit susceptible to being hacked and things like that. So make your passwords tough. Next, we'll see down here, and it says weak right now. You're like, well, Charlie, you got a weak password. Right now, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and once you get this email that you've been signed up, I'm assuming you're going to come in and change that. So, all right, so we'll send this to the user. This is important too. If you actually want to make edits to the entire site, you want to be set as an administrator. So make sure you have that set. Go ahead and add a new user. Okay. Now this is the main admin right here. Right now it's got my email address. Once I quote unquote turn the keys over to you, I would suggest you come in here and do one of two things. One, change out my email, get that out of there, put your email address, whatever that master email address you want it to be, and change the password because right now it's my email address and my password. So change that out. That way, you have main access in control of it. Next, we're going to see tools. You probably are not going to use any of this, so I would just ignore this for now. Settings has a lot of different things. I'm not really sure what you can be using, but let's go over a couple of them. First, is your general settings. Right here you have your site name. You can change that if you want. Here's your tagline. It's not currently showing on your site, so that's up to you whether you want to change that or not. The master email address, you will want to change that. Then here's your timestamps, basically your dates and how they're displayed and that kind of a thing. Next is your writing. And basically this is just for your blog posts. What's your default category? That's up to you what you want to put in there. The same thing with your default link category, which is only one, so it's not really a whole lot you can do with that. A bunch of this other stuff you're really not going to be using. Okay, next we have reading, and this is important for this right here, this section right here. This is how many posts will show up on your page. So we have a blog post. Now, how many are going to show up on the blog page? Right now we have it at 3. So 3 posts, and then you'll paginate. You'll be able to see the other posts. So if you want 10 to show up per page, you can put 10. If you only want 1, you put 1. So that's self-explanatory. Next is for comment and spam information and how you want to monitor that. I'm going to leave that completely up to you to kind of check things out. There's not everything here is for the most part self-explanatory. At least I think it is. Comment author must fill out their name. Anyone can post a comment. Administrator must always approve the comment. So there's a bunch of little different things that you can come in here and read and decide whether you want to set those or not. The last one is theme options panel. That, like the majority of these videos, is going to be its own separate tutorial, and I'll go over that later. Excuse me. That is about it for this introductory tutorial video. I usually, like I said, keep it real simple. This time I've gone about 13 minutes, so I don't want to bore you to death, which obviously you have to be by this point. So that'll do it.